A friend of mine said, is that is what politicians face? You know, they say they come and line up in their house in the morning. They are waiting. I have a politician friend who said when he wakes up in the morning, he said when he goes to a conference, sometimes by 4 a.m. people are waiting. 4 a.m. they are waiting.
Too much.
School fees, medical bills,
Too much.
all kinds of things. Placement in police. You know, so sometimes when the MPs go, they don't sleep in their house.
People want money for their knocking, money for outdooring, money
serious,
for everything.
So some of the MPs, when they go at dawn.
Yeah.
Or they leave at dawn through the second gate,
Run away.
the back door. Because people are waiting.
Really.
You know, some MPs too have now had offices. So some of them have maybe office hours where they say maybe Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. I'll see people or something because it's too much. Some will come and wait, and some travel from afar. Like if you are from a rural constituency, maybe like a big constituency, somebody has to travel for maybe 3 hours to come to your house. Even if you are not there, they have to give him something.
And it's not just the MPs, even people who have, you know, small appointments, deputy this, deputy that, who don't even have offices. People are throwing tough. All their challenges on them.
And you know, I think we should think about that very well because you see, Sky, we say we don't want our politicians to be corrupt. Okay. So even me, who I'm not a politician, people call me and ask me for all kinds of things. And I said to them, you think if a journalist calls a duty bearer or a headmaster and tells him that you should sort him out, the journalist can be in a position to do a fair, objective work next time? Imagine. So maybe I call the headmaster of my school and say, Charlie, I have a cousin who needs placement, so give him presec. Next time I go to cover, he won't respect me. But a lot of people put us in a position to do that. And I think it's the same with our politicians. Like, you know, we need money for this, we need money for that, you know, and it becomes a problem. So sometimes they are calculating how much they need to get to satisfy that need. I'm not justifying corruption, but I'm just explaining how it works. Because imagine if a constituency of largely rural dwellers who are not working, some of them, their farms are not producing. Even if 50 people are, okay, let's say even 20 people are waiting in your house. Even if you don't give them, even if you give them 100 cedis, and some of them, if you give them 200 cedis, they will insult you. They say you don't respect. So let's assume you even give them 200 cedis.
I don't respect me. I give you money. I don't respect.
So he doesn't respect me. You get it? So let's assume 20 people come to your house for the weekend. You are coming to the. It's a serious thing. How much is a minister's salary? How much is an MP's salary? Old schoolmates are calling. Friends are calling. You know, people who didn't even vote for you are calling. Your wife's friends are calling. It's a lot of things. Oh. You know, and people are expecting. So you go for, maybe somebody has come to invite you to a funeral. So let's assume you have 5 funeral invitations for a weekend. Even if you can't go, you may have to send something. So they brought maybe somebody, constituency chairman, or somebody who is just in your community. They bring a funeral invite. You can't come, but you have to send some money. Then they are doing those who are doing outdoorings. There are those who are doing weddings. Then those who need school placement. Then there are those who need police. Those who need immigration. Those who need Charlie. The system is going to. So you see, it's not just the individuals. I always say that integrity is both individual and institutional. If you want people to be honest, you have to build buffers and institutions around them. Because, Sky, no matter how genuinely honest you are, Charlie, when the pressure is on you like that, see how 25 boxes of potatoes, I'm confused. Charlie, because my friend something's this. Charlie, how do I share it? And by the way, do I share it to satisfy my personal need for my friends or to satisfy my company colleagues? Do we cook it for everybody to eat? Do we return it back to Felix and say, Charlie, you've come to worry me this morning. I don't know if you have any potato. Charlie, it's a serious thing. So please, stop giving pressure to your MPs and DCs and things. Allow them to work. So that when they don't work, you can hold them to account. But once they start giving you funeral money and things, you are compromised.
But Bernard, they bring this upon themselves, you know. When they are sharing and we talk about it, that they should stop buying votes, they justify it and say, oh, some of them, they are delegates, we don't pass them, we do. When it's time for them to be paying, then they are complaining. So they have to also...
But they will say that the thing you do to get there is not the thing you do to stay there. So to win the election is one thing. To maintain favor is another whole thing. You know, so it's a serious issue.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of members of parliament are complaining about this. A lot of them too, they go to parliament with the wrong expectation. True. So a lot of people think that when you get to become an MP, it's such a big thing. You could become a minister. Then they get in, realize that Mahama is choosing only 58 ministers, and there are 188 of you. So a lot of you, you know, and there's only a limited number of boards and committees you can be appointed onto. And now the demand on you versus the real revenues coming in, it don't match because your salary is not that much. You know, it's okay, but it's not that wild. If you're even looking after 20 people, paying school fees, fine, you have MP Common Fund. What to use it to do? Projects. So you know some MPs will go and do BEC, they'll buy mass set for people. It's a serious thing. And the question is, where do they get all those monies from? You know, MPs will be donating desks to school, buying mass set, register people for boarding school, university scholarships. The society should be built such that it's not how close you are to the MP. We should build a society where there's a system where you can all apply. It's genuine. So there's no pressure on the MP. You get, so that there's nowhere that we don't do who you know, but in Ghana it's too much. Let's do it so that the system creates opportunity for the weak. He doesn't have to have voted for you. He doesn't have to be from your hometown. You get it? Otherwise, we are going to we have institutionalized corruption to a point where we can't solve it. You know, you can't solve it because there's no way a person on the kind of salary the person is on can, you know.
And Bernard, you know, sometimes
when you finish, do this for me.
I would do. Yeah. One of my challenges, though, is also, you know, we talk about the politicians a lot. Today we are focusing on us as citizens. You know, sometimes people want you to help them, and you give them solutions that are more sustainable. They don't want. They want you to just be feeding them all the time. But it's not sustainable.
The day I nearly gave up, you know, I did a show someday, and we called some MPs to talk about pressure on them. Remember, one MP told you that the worst day of his life was when a constituent called him and said he needs money to perform abortion because he had gone to impregnate some lady and that he was not ready for the baby, and that the MP should give him money to go. He said it on this program.
Seriously?
Money. He said somebody called him that he wants money to do abortion. That he MP crowd. No, first one he said. Now we are MP.
Really?
Now maybe I know MP number one.
Abortion.
I'm telling you. He said he called them. He said that's this. No, this MP work.
Abortion they do.
This MP work. If I don't stop, I'll die before my time. He said you should give him money to do abortion. And he said it on radio, so this is true.
No.
You should give him money to do abortion.
Don't do that, guys.
For some, and the woman is not related to him. No. This is a woman. Some action happening with abortion matter. It's very serious.
It's a big issue. You don't know where exactly to draw the line.
Yeah.
I understand it when people sometimes want to blame the MPs, but then also it gets to levels where it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
Yes, people want to win power, so they will say some ridiculous things and make all kinds of promises. But ultimately, when it comes down to the road, it becomes very difficult. You know, because I sit in many of their offices, and sometimes I cringe because of the level of things they have to deal with. Some of the problems you can't just turn the person away. Because the person has come, you see the person's condition. The tie is almost going away, and she needs money to go and perform some surgery, and you've seen all the records. You have to, and she walked with that all the way from Akuma down some place
to come and wait for you.
You're in the constituency, in your office in Parliament. What are you going to do?
This is what they call demand-driven corruption.
So
demand-driven is demand. We have to do. I think we should do more behavioral studies on corruption, like Professor Baole did. People's ethical decision making. I don't think we talk about that enough. What will you do in a situation like this? Like right now, where I'm sitting, I'm thinking very difficult. Should Kamasa have really brought this potato thing?
So before I come to the potato matter, you see, if our institutions, welfare systems are working properly, ideally these will not be burden that the MP would have to deal with. For instance, if the person is in extreme poverty, and maybe there's a cancerous condition that she can't deal with, of course, the system should be able to pay for that, right? Fees that are recently I've had to go and settle, admission fee of a relation. Meanwhile, the government says they are now doing free university education.
No fee stress.
So why are they still billing what they call
I don't even understand. They bill the students, they pay, and then they refund.
And they paid fees.
So what they do is that you pay the fee,
and they reimburse.
And then when government pays, they reimburse you.
You see, so that amount, the amount involved, at a certain level, it may not be big.
Yeah.
But if you're talking to someone who doesn't have a father who is working, or maybe a mother who has something to do, even those who are struggling in the market,
Yeah.
you simply can't raise that kind of money. So that burden ultimately comes back to the member of parliament, and then he has to find a creative way of making the money legally
Pascal,
or
that's
illegally.
why the job of duty bearers is to build institutions and systems which provide everybody a fair chance. You see, so long as they circumnavigate, they circumvent the system, and they don't allow systems to work, they will keep suffering.
Yeah.
People will come and queue in your house because they don't have a fair chance. When you go to scholarship secretariat, the thing is gamed. If the scholarship secretariat were open for everybody who can apply to have a genuine chance of entering, they wouldn't need to come and line up in your house. If the health system was working, and they didn't need to go to private facilities to pay cash and carry, they won't come and ask. So if the leader's job is to make themselves irrelevant by building systems that outlive him, the leader. So the challenge we are facing, you can look at it from the demand side to say people are putting pressure on the MPs and the politicians, but the politicians are also there not to enrich themselves, but to build a system which will give everybody a fair chance. Now, there will be a lot of poor people always, but when you build structural changes, for example, you create a platform for more jobs to be created.
Yeah.
Factories are built. A lot of young people will get work to do. If somebody starts working, having to that when you have a relative who always asks you for money, when they start working,
Yeah.
and they guess if they are doing a proper job and the work is serious, they don't have time to even ask you
At
for anything.
all.
You get it?
At all.
Because they are working. So, whilst I understand politicians saying that there's pressure on them, they should also build. So, if somebody wants to bring a factory to your constituency or whatever, these are the kind of things you encourage so that people will get work to do.
Yeah.
If there's no work to do and all they're looking for is to get into police or to get into fire service, I mean, how sustainable is that?
But who told you the politicians they don't like it?
Oh, they don't.
So that they are forever dependent on them, they can control them.
I don't think any proper politician
That's so.
enjoys people queuing in their house asking.
But that is why we don't have a lot of proper politicians.
I think they don't know how to build a system. I don't think it's
they
because
do.
they are deliberately.
But they do. You see, I have stopped underestimating the Ghanaian politician.
Really?
You think they deliberately keep people dependent on
The
them
Messiah syndrome is real.
that
What-
they want to feel needed?
That they want to be depended on. Yes, you see, because
they
if
want to be dependent on
the nature of
Very sure about this theory of yes.
Okay, develop the theory. Develop it. Develop the theory.
Keep them.
4 MMP stand here.
I know.
Okay, you have some street credit.
I have proper street cred on the matter.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We are listening to
You
you.
see, have you heard that? But that is not in relation to my.
That is
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know, my man.
You know,
yeah.
but the point I am making is, you see, the MP wants to be put in a position where people come to him. The MP is worried when nobody is coming to him. Because the MP is worried that if nobody is coming to him, he's asking himself, who are they going to?
Right.
Oi.
Must be needed.
Oh, yes. You see, because that is always the consideration. Who are they going to if they're not coming to me?
Right.
Whoever they are going to is his competition.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the MP's interest is always to be in a situation where
They are the center of
they are the center of attention. Where, other than that, I'll give a typical example. This, for instance, let's do a simple analysis. This situation that Kwekwadu finds himself in. I read his statement. First question I asked myself is, why did he need to go there?
He said he was on his way to a funeral.
Go to your funeral.
And
And
they
no, he
called
saw
him.
commotion
Commotion where?
on the near the Galamsey pit.
What was his interpretation of the commotion?
As
When there
in,
were police,
He saw policemen there. He saw military men there.
when you be a coso, I want me constituency. Then I'm missing me MP. They say me go check it how far.
Sa pepe.
So you see, his need to be seen. Look at where you are now.
I see.
You see, and there are a lot of those. I'm not saying all of the MPs are like that. There are those who are just in to do legislative work. Okay, contribute their quota to legislative work, help their people in. But a lot. I'll give you an example. In the months before free senior high school, count the number of stories we did on MPs who did distribution of trunks, choboxes, mattresses, stationery.
Almost everyone.
Almost every MP did it.
Almost everyone.
Don't do it and see.
With extra classes and things.
There was an MP who gave out 1,000 trunks and choboxes and mattresses.
But why are they doing it?
1,000. Who asked them to?
The people expect it.
No. So if he says he won't do it,
I don't know. They should speak for
But
themselves.
I know an MP who decided not to do that.
Yes.
I sat with him in his office.
And what was his explanation?
And you see, you should understand his trajectory to getting into office.
yes.
So this is a person who identifies with the rolling style of doing things,
Oh,
probity and
those
accountability.
things.
That you can't just
Take.
Yeah, that's right. You overuse yourself in order to satisfy the needs of the people in a way that ends up corrupting you. Because 1,000, chop box.
Where are you going to get the money from?
that?
I mean, if you do the numbers, you can't go with your salary as a member of parliament and your allowances to be able
Buying
to
chop
pay
boxes for
that.
people.
Exactly. You then have to be holding to
It's a common phone.
to somebody else. Exactly.
Yeah.
Either use the common fund, which ideally that's not the reason for it, but you have to depend on that. Or maybe Godfred has some, rice that he imports into the country and he has some free money. So you go see Godfred and Godfred supports you. In which case you are also working to undermine
That's how the corruption starts.
local industrial.
Because if he's on a committee that's supposed to check your import
Imports,
work and he's doing import rights, comes to give you some money for chop box. So the corruption has started.
Exactly.
You give them an end chop box, you get an end money from the rice importer. The rice importer gets an end a pass during the committee hearing, and the Ghana Revenue Authority loses money. Then we are all messed
Exactly.
up. So the money a GRA should have collected, which would have then been used to pay for the fees for you, goes into a private pocket,
Yes.
and the MP now needs to now pay for your own chop box. So we've created a system that's, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I'm just also saying that the MPs, some of the MPs, let me not be, from my observation, feel the need to have people say, "Win a This is the one doing it."
But it's well the system we have. If they had a way, for me, I think that there are two possibilities. I think our elite and political leaders, some of them genuinely don't know how to create the society that we want. Okay, so they are forced to do this chop box sharing thing because that's the system we find ourselves in. To actually build a system where people don't need such a thing takes a lot of time. The political system we've created makes that difficult because the political system is based on patronage, where you have to give people things for them to vote for you.
And it takes a long time to change that tide, because I know friends who have attempted some roles before and wanted to change the status quo. Instead of dole out money to individual groups or young people, they want to then organize them to acquire skills that they can build a life on and on. They're like, but you why? People have come and they're giving us 500, 200, 100. You say we should go and learn how
But
to
you see,
make soap and do those things.
leadership also includes. You see, we always assume that once people push back, your leadership is tested in how you're able to also convince people to change their mind. You get it? So let's not take leadership as I want something that people say they don't want, so I'll do what the people want. That's not leadership. Leadership includes saying, you know what, you say you want money for chop box. I may give you once. But what I actually have for you is a plan for you to be independent. Now, a leader must find a way of letting the people understand that. It's not just a question of they say they want money and they want chop box, so I'll give them chop box forever. Then you're not a leader. You're a placeholder.
You see, it's a difficult choice for many people, especially when the initial capital investment to become a member of parliament is so huge that you want to stay in there and to be able to get something back while also helping your people. Because if you went to sell, say you worked as a journalist for, say, 20 years, bought 2 houses in the course of your life as a journalist, and then you wanted to become a member of parliament, and then you had to sell your houses in order to win the elections. Exactly. You funded it.
Why would I want to do that?
I
To be MP.
Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that?
I don't like the people like that. I don't like the people like that.
Wait. Look at what you said.
Yes.
21 years of journalism.
Yes.
2 houses. Then
Nice
I'll go
guy.
and sell one
Yes.
to go and become an MP.
Yes. Or both. I'm telling you, it happened.
How many houses did I sell to do the journalism?
You see,
So I want to sell a house to be MP.
so there are many factors there.
So that is the need.
No, maybe you see, Skyhood, that house I'm selling, which means that somebody has promised me something that I believe will give me more than that house I'm going to sell.
Which is what? That you become a minister of state.
I don't understand. understand.
Or you become
What kind
chairman of a
what
board.
kind of calculation will a man with 2 houses, will lead a man with 2 houses to sell one to become an MP?
Yeah, because of the promise that something good will come out of
That's
your
the
winning.
That's the
That's the
corruption.
corruption.
That's the corruption. Because how on earth are you going to get a job that pays you like 12,000 cedis?
Uh-huh.
A month.
That means I'm going to sell my house to get there.
Bernard, you have
come
no idea what people have had to do in order to get to
Oh,
parliament.
they are using wrong calculations.
And
Wrong
you see-
calculation.
And you see, so when he comes like that, he has to recoup it. Now, the only promise of the only promise that you'll be maintained there is where the people are saying, okay, you have to
This
do
our
this.
man.
This our man, do this for us. And you see, many people don't want community development that they all go and share
They
in.
want individual.
They want individual benefits that they can put in their pockets.
So it goes back to the problem of values, because it means we don't understand sacrifice, we don't understand the concept of servant leadership, we don't understand what public service even means. It's all about interest and business, because a leadership at the national level is like I have accomplished success in law or in medicine, and I think I have something to offer my people, because when I see their problems, I think I have the kind of stature, I have the training, and I have developed the necessary backbone to lead these people as their MP. So I'm offering myself because my 25 years of working in the financial sector has given me the network, the integrity, and the credibility and the track record to offer myself for leadership.
Yeah.
Very.
But if you are somebody who has done,
Honorable,
but no,
Relax.
I'm saying that this is
Ideally, that's the.
what I'm saying is that let's go back to values.
You last.
There are so many people in parliament who have no business going there,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
he has not learned anything, he hasn't done any work, and he just wants to be a MP as a job. Ideally, national service at that level is the highest level of service, and you are bringing your experience from wherever you've worked, built environment, medicine, farmer,
going to
or
parliament or
teacher,
attend school.
into the because it's the national assembly. So if you are from Bunkurugu Yonyo, you have served for 25 years as a teacher, and you believe that you have the experience and the track record to serve at that national level. That's what we should encourage. And I'm saying it's values based. What we tolerate as leaders is also an issue. If some people who have not done anything can present themselves to you for you to be your MP, and you, the chiefs and people, have no problem with it, then it means you also have a problem. You should also say, Richard Sky, we've seen your work in the media. We've seen you for 17 years. We believe you've represented the people of Ketu South well enough. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. We want you to be MP. So the kind of MPs you get is a reflection on the citizens. Because the guy comes, he starts giving them money, starts doing 1 or 2 projects, and they also vote for him because they believe that this is what an MP should do. So it is a commentary on the wrong values of society. Because in some societies, a person without a track record will not be considered for high positions.
Is it a need?
Because the people themselves will say, when we assess this guy, he's not qualified to lead us. But in Ghana, once you're on the right ticket, particularly if you are from a party stronghold, and once you have some resources, so-called resources, they call it resourcefulness.
Resources.
You get it?
Nurture the party.
It means that we, the people, the chiefs and the people, we are not serious. That you look at this person who has no proper track record and is doing projects for you, or he's come from US after working there for 10 years and is building schools and things. No, he should become your MP.
Let me ask you a question.
What has he proved?
Is there values?
What has it
issue
been?
or
It's a
is
values.
needs issue.
It's a values, because your values are exposed when you are in need.
Okay, so
What is a value? A value is something you hold dear to yourself. You can't say honesty is a value of yours if when you are hungry you go and steal somebody's food. It's no longer a value. So values are not tested when you are comfortable. Values are tested when you have nothing. So when somebody tells you, we have value but we are hungry, so we'll do it. It's like saying that I'm desperate, so I went to steal.
yeah, so you see,
You have no values.
the reason I asked the question is that during my years at Buckingham, right? You go and volunteer when they are doing these local elections, and then also major elections.
Right.
The former British Speaker, John Bercow, was in his constituency for my years in Buckingham. You realize that people there don't do what we do here, right? When they go there and they want someone to lead them, they are giving the very last that they have to support the cause. So he has £1, he supports, £2, he supports, contributes to create a huge pool from which the candidate digs in order to fund his campaign, right? You don't go there and you find people line up every morning wanting to get rent, wanting to do A, B, and C. But here, that is what we do. So the question is, is it because of our poverty? That is how come we now depend on the benevolence of the member of parliament to be able to keep us going and therefore keep him there? Or that it is a question of the values which you raise, which we do not understand properly, and which therefore means that we now go and say, oh, you, regardless of where you are getting the money from, we don't care. You go get your share and come and share with us.
It's a difficult question, Sky. So I don't have all the answers, but what I'll say to you is that even if people's need or poverty means you have to help them, the overriding value, and by the way, values include hard work, self-sufficiency, pride. All right. So when I say values, it's not just honesty. Thrift is a value. Living within your means is a value. Right. So what I'm saying is that as a society, we haven't developed the values that the unwritten rules that we all agree we will not break. They are not strong enough. So I'm not even going to say poverty because there are poor people everywhere and there are rich people everywhere. So using necessity and need to mean that we compromise is not real values. Just as I'm saying. The issue is that as a society, we have not formed values that we can all say that a Ghanaian cannot be corrupted. A Ghanaian, when you give him a position, he will be a good steward. He will manage resources well. He will not steal. We don't have those values. What we value is immediate gratification, a lot of hypocrisy, pretense. We destroy, like a lot of people when they work for you, when you are not there, they don't work. When you come back, they pretend to be working. There's no discipline. There's no commitment to thrift, savings. You can give all kinds of reasons why people don't save. You can give all kinds of reasons. People have to take responsibility. Okay, we have to build that into people. Dependency syndrome is because of the values we've created. That people feel that the only way to get something for the MP to do it for them. It's a dependency culture. You can help people, but there are organized ways of doing that so that people will not lose their sense of pride and personhood. So it's a society that glorifies ill-gotten wealth. People are duplicitous. They are not honest. They can't speak truth to power. They go to church and they listen to the sermon, but they go home and do the exact opposite thing. So they do the externals, all right, having a form of godliness but denying its real power. That's the kind of society we've created. You can feel a student of people who are praying. Half of those guys will go and steal in their office the next day. So that's the point. It's not. A society cannot be built because a society is like a building. The values is the foundation. So you can put training programs, capacity building, write new laws, anti-corruption efforts. If the building block, the basis of building anything is this foundation. They said righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. So even with God, his value, his basic architecture of survival is values. So the question is, what is the basis of Ghanaian society? We've not developed it. Even if we have, we haven't promulgated it. We haven't conscientized people. So let me give you an example. Your child is going to school, my job. So we're doing basic 1. By class 6, what does he know? And the things he's being taught, do you reinforce it at home? Do you know the top 3 values that a child in grade 6 should have? Irrespective of which ethnic group he's from or which religion he belongs to. If he goes to a good school in Ghana, what are the top 3 things he must have? Nobody here can say it. That's where the problem is. So you don't know why is it discipline? Is it honesty? Is it thrift? Is it respect? Is it frugality? Is it kindness? We don't know. So it's haphazard. You, because you are from a certain part of the country, you have a certain view for what life should be. You take your child to a private school, the school has their own opportunity. Your wife takes him to another church, they have their own issue. Your grandmother too comes home for the vacation, she's doing her own thing. So the whole thing is confused. So the child doesn't even know who they are. They don't even speak ever in their home. They don't understand who they are. So you are, and this is the kind of thing we should be dealing with more aggressively. We spend more money on projects and buildings than on the mindset of the Ghanaian citizen. Yet everything we are doing is being undermined by our mindset. Don't you think it's time to spend more money on that? Because you do all these programs, and yet the mindset of the Ghanaian is anti-nation building. So the politician gives up and says, well, so let me also do what I have to do. Let me give them the trunk and chobox and let them vote for me, and let's keep lying to each other. But that's not a sustainable way of building a society. We need to come back to a point of saying we have to inculcate the right values by rewarding those who exhibit those values and punishing those who don't. That's the best way to start this thing.
I watched a video of a Nigerian teacher who argues that perhaps the basis of our governance is the problem because it is alien to the African culture. The concept of democracy in the way we practice it, politics, partisan politics, and all of that. That may well be the reason, because you seriously can't even find, African roots for the way we govern society these days. This whole business of multi-party democracy, which we have imposed on African society in many respects, may well be the problem.
So you can blame the system partially. Sky, we have honest politicians and corrupt chiefs. What do you say about that? So my point is that we can't push the system to its extreme. The system may be true. I've said this to you, that, for example, when you go to parliament.
But was there not a way of dealing with corrupt chiefs?
But was that also perfect? You see, the question I'm saying is, I see, you can say that partisan politics, universal adult suffrage, liberal democracies for a country with certain characteristics may not be ideal. But what is true forever is values. Whether you are running a Japanese system, a Mexican system, an Eskimo system, whatever system you run, whether you're running traditional African system, you are running a hybrid system or Westminster system, if the basis of the way they practice the rules is not underpinned by the unspoken rules. You see, I say that in Ghana, we have tens of thousands of laws, but the underlying rules of the way we behave, our beliefs, our mores, those things are not well formed enough for any of those systems to succeed. That's what I'm saying. So I agree that we have not evolved a system that is natural to us, which is why you go to parliament, they're always arguing over procedure. All right. The way the Westminster system is antagonistic. It may not be the best, but my point is that if respect is at the basis of the way we behave, whether you are running Westminster, you are running American, or running traditional Ashanti, if respect is at the base, respect is what you understand. You can do politics in a respectful way. You can do it in an honest way. The problem with Ghana is that the values have not been ingrained. Number two, the leadership is not invested in inculcating those values. They are taking advantage of the weak value systems to perpetrate a bad system.
Do we have weak value systems? I think I push back on the point. But when you in your house, if you go home today and one of your people comes back with a toy you did not buy for him, you ask questions, won't you?
But should it end there? Even if I ask questions?
No, you ask questions and then you act on it. Look, I didn't get this for you. Where did you get it from? Who gave it to you? Okay, if you say, Uncle Richard bought it for me, then you have to call me and say, okay, did you? Oh, yes, you bought. Okay, then the next morning you come and thank me. You see, now I bet that in many homes
you have to systemize it. So what you are saying is true. You are saying that at the individual level, a lot of people mean well, a lot of people try and do the right thing. That's arguable, but let me even give you that.
Okay.
You cannot, nothing is permanent without systems, or nothing is permanent without institutions. So you must systematize this behavior.
We have communal institutions that allow these things to
you give an example of my child coming back from school. The behavior that child exhibits must be reinforced when he goes to school. The teacher must say the same thing I say. When he goes to church or mosque on Friday or Sunday, there must be a reinforcement of that message. When he goes to children's park to watch a glow play, it must be reinforced. That's what I'm saying, that the society must deliberately inculcate that, so that 10-year-old boy knows that it is not right to do this. Number two, we must build systems that punish errant people. So there are people who definitely say don't agree to those rules. So maybe 70% of us will say we will be honest. There are people who say to hell we will not be honest. Now, because the 70% of whichever critical mass of us have agreed that this is what we want to do, we will invest in systems that if somebody decides to be errant, he will be punished for the wrong behavior that he says he's going to exhibit. So number one, we haven't systemized the values. And number two, we haven't invested in the systems or institutions that perpetuate or punish or enforce those values. You understand? So we have laws, but we don't enforce them. Because at the heart of our misbehavior, we're actually comfortable with people breaking the law. You get it? So a policeman will go and stand at tiptoe lane and pretend to be conducting traffic, collecting 2 cedis from drivers. and the driver knows he's not supposed to pay, but he pays, and he can't go and tell anybody. If he comes, which police station is going to report? Now the minister drives, but he knows it happens. The media guy sees it, but he can't do anything. The pastor sees, he can't say anything about it. So all of us have agreed that for Ghana police, they'll collect 2 cedis from you at tiptoe lane. It's a broken down society. In another country, they will be scandalized. How are you collecting 2 cedis? It doesn't even occur to him to collect the money. Somebody can leave his money. So we have not invested. So all of us, whether it's the pastor, the priest, the imam, the footballer, we've all seen the policeman collecting 2 cedis from a taxi driver. We look the other way. It's also values. We are looking the other way. Even the media looks the other way. They are like, say we are normal. So the whole generation, their value system is anti-development, because if you want to organize, the first evidence of leadership is order. When you see chaos, there's no leadership. So if you go to tiptoe lane and see policemen collecting 2 cedi bribe from taxi drivers, and that chaos is allowed to exist, it's a leadership failure. Society has failed. And all of us who see it and decide that we can't do anything or we don't want to do anything about it, and that will solve the problem in our home. How does solving the problem in your home change a country? When you go to the traffic light and the policeman is collecting a bribe, how can a man who is wearing a uniform collect a bribe from a citizen?
Is the family unit not the basis of society? So that if we get it right at the micro level, at the macro level, we should be able to get it right.
It doesn't always work like that.
Explain why.
Because if, look, how was the all of us came from good homes,
Yeah.
but when we come together, we don't necessarily do
Arguably.
we don't do the right thing, because there are also group dynamics. There are also societal incentives. So it's not about coming from good home. And by the way, coming from a good home to train you, a good home training is not about only you. One thing a good home teaches you is also that you cannot say that it's your young kuma, it's your dream. It teaches you community. So I can't train my kids to be excellent at home and then bad citizens. Now, in front of my house, who weeds it? Do they go for communal labor? Do I train them to be socially conscious? Do they understand that dropping rubbish? So it's not about what I do in my home and how I behave in the home alone. If I'm trained properly in the home, the way I think about society also matters. So you get me? So even this point we are saying that, oh, in Ghana, the homes are okay. I don't think we train our citizens, our kids, to be socially conscious. They don't go to public schools. They go to private schools. They don't go to public hospitals. They go to vacation holidays abroad. They don't even go to their hometown. So they are not even conscious of the Ghana that you see. The dream you have for Ghana, your kids are looking at a different world. So don't be so sure that because you mean well, it means that your kids are going to be patriotic. The schools they are going to, 90% of Ghanaians are not going to go to afford that school. Because of course you mean well for your family. But most citizens cannot go there. And in the schools that their colleagues are going, they are 80 in a class. And it's a survival of the fittest. And the teacher can come when he wants. That's the kind of society you are creating. So I'm not even sure we can argue that the Ghanaian family has done such an extraordinary job. Societies don't fail because only one group fails. Most groups fail because family is failing, church is failing, media is failing, politics is failing. Everybody is failing. It's not just one. Because you don't evolve a Bernard Avile just because his mother and father were good. The school he went to is part. The teachers who trained him is part. The friends he went to, the church he goes to, his catechism teacher, his boss.
The era he grew up.
All those people. In fact, research proves that family is probably responsible for my first 15 years. By age 19, when you were in Legon at Commonwealth Hall, did your father know half of the things you were singing in that hall?
Why are you?
Why are we making family? He's from a good Presbyterian home. He went to Prempeh College, so they are hoping that by SS3 he has a certain education. When he enters Vandal City, it's a different civilization. So after 4 years of Vandal City, you have to distill Martin de Porres. Now listen to it. His father is a Presbyterian. Mother is a good Christian. He's gone to Martin de Porres, a good Catholic school. He's gone to Prempeh College. Old Square has disciplined him, but he's gone to Vandal City for 4 years.
Also disciplines him.
By the time he comes out and starts working at Asempa or Metro TV or whatever, all those influences are determining how he's living. By the time he goes to China to do his PhD and comes back, he's a different human being. So it's not a family issue. Society has shaped him. So by now he's running a football academy. Yes, so his life is a microcosm of all those influences. So if he's a bad person, it's not only his parents who have failed. Martin de Porres has failed. Prempeh has failed.
All the lines
Vandal
have
City
failed.
has failed.
But he also has agency.
That's my point. But he's a product of his society.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that Sky, don't be so hopeful that if you do it right for your family alone,
Actually.
it's going to work. We need to collaborate.
Yeah.
This is how I resolve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The space that you control, do your best. The ones you can collaborate with, work with them. So media, we work with others. So for example, sometimes media, we have to work with social institutions, civil society organizations, because we are in this together. Sometimes you have to work with religious bodies. Sometimes you have to work with politicians. Those who mean well, we can find areas of alignment. So for everybody who is pessimistic, there are one or two people who are optimistic. Do your best. Here we are doing agri-fair. Kamasa has come. We didn't ask him to come. He came to give us 25 boxes. He's going to come. People will buy the potatoes. Somebody may have decided I was going to do potato flour. A government may pick it up. That's the best you can do.
Let me
There's
ask
nothing
you,
else you can do to
let
do
me ask you a
yourself.
question. So you see, as we speak, the
Yeah.
conversation we are having, it's just a small drop in a vast ocean, right? Out of the 200 or so media houses that we have this early morning doing breakfast show across the whole of the country, you can bet that less than 1% will most likely be discussing what we are talking about this very morning. Now, people from societies like China and the East generally would want to enforce a certain line of thought that gets society to think in a certain way. Of course, people push back and say that is, oh, you are trying to do propaganda and frame all of us in a particular way. But there's a narrative that is told generally by the mass media, right? I believe in free press, freedom of speech and all of that. But if you go by what I am saying, which is generally the view, right? Don't you think that perhaps there should be a certain imposition, and I'm using the word with so much hesitation,
I know what you're saying.
which is to guide
I know what you're saying.
what
The narrative.
exactly.
I have an answer to that. Okay, so
I say that without
first
any
thing-
violence to my beliefs.
first disclaimer.
Yes.
We don't sit here to assume that what we are discussing is the most important thing in Ghana.
That is
there
true.
are other important things we discuss everywhere.
That
else.
is fine.
But what does history teach us? No society, no modern society has advanced as a developed society, which has made progress that we admire, without a long-term conscientization plan, which includes media. Now, this media is mass media. It includes movies, music, performing arts, journalism. Right? So whether it's America, when you watch American movies, from young, the blue man is always a white man, and last killer will always die. America always wins. Whether it's Rambo, whether it is
Commando.
First Blood, whether it is Jean-Claude Van Damme,
American Ninja.
there always has, even with what our kids are watching now, the Avengers, there's always the villain who's the bad, grotesque looking guy, and the American will triumph. Right now, that is subtle conditioning. It's a plan. Somebody put it together. It's not. It's not by accident. Now, Korean movies are doing very well.
Yeah.
Korea has awoken. I remember I was listening to one Korean person talking about how 50 years ago they were at the same level as Ghana. It wasn't just building factories. Look, people watch Korean soap operas in Ghana today. Korea has decided that to sustain economic development, so they said every house will have a car. But it's not just having a car. The way they depict Korea will also change. You can say that about Britain. In fact, a friend of mine was talking about Egypt. He's saying one of the reasons why Egypt is the most influential Arab nation is that in those days in other Arab countries, Egypt was the only Arab country that produced these TV programs that they showed during Eid in other Arab nations. So Egypt developed the art of telling the story. So most other Arabs can understand the Egyptian form of Arabic. What I'm saying is that if a country wants to develop, somebody must have a vision for who the citizens are. Now that vision is not just a question of classroom teaching. Movies. All right. So how do you depict the Ghanaian in your movies? What subtle message are you sending? It's a plan. The Chinese do it. The Japanese do it. The Koreans do it. The Americans do it. The British do it. The French do it. We are the only people who don't do it. We think, hey, you can fool. Oh. We don't support those things. So when you have people like George Kwe and co doing performances of the blink arts, where you are forced to think about who you are, we don't value those things. Okay, we just import telenovela and just show it from Brazil or
Mexico.
India, Kumkum Baja, and we are happy. We don't understand that these are subtle framings. Even the Indians are taking charge of their theater.
Yep.
So if you have a society which is this disorganized, you cannot just say let's use classroom alone. There's no grand media vision. There's no, and you see those things usually work when the government is together and has vision. Here we are, every 4 years things change. Even within the same party, we are fighting every day. National Development Planning Commission, they said they want Ghana in 2038. MPP come, they have their own agenda. We can't even agree on the hardcore. How do we even agree on what a Ghanaian personality should be? So the thing you have said is true, and it's not like Samuel George should tell us what we should do. That's not the issue. The elite in society who control the gates, whether it's media, the gate of politics, the gate of education, the gate of religion, that elite must have a certain consensus about the kind of Ghana they want because of the way they've been trained. So whether they are NDC or MPP, they have a certain view of the way the nation should be built. That's how it's supposed to be. So the Hollywood movies we watch and the things they depict, that makes all of us believe that America is the greatest. I used to read comics. They used to call them war comics when I was very young. There were these comics. I don't know if you had them.
I've seen them.
So they would depict, they would depict the Germans wearing a certain kind of hat. Britain always Britain,
remember those ones?
Yes, Britain always won. As a child, I was reading comics about war.
Yeah, you were framed.
And in my head,
They also had football versions of that.
Football,
Like,
just
I
so
remember that.
so we have not thought deeply about what it takes
Yeah.
to be free. Number two, we have not developed the discipline to follow through that thing. Number three, we haven't put away our petty differences and our sides. So as we are speaking, it's all about fighting for the pot of soup. Right? MPP is doing campaign. NDC too, they are thinking of replacing Mahama. Nobody has time to say, okay, how are we going to win? How are we going to make Ghana the star of Africa in a way? It may require all forces. But we are half of the time divided. We are this, we are from here. So, Sky, it's going to take a long time. I'm telling you, if our elite, Kwame Nkrumah's experiment was good, you go to Prempeh, I go to Ketasco, I go to Achimota, I go to Navasco, we come together with an idea that Ghana must be seen in a certain way. We are the elite. That elite will say, corruption will not help. Nepotism will not be good. These are the things we want to create in a society that we want to create in 50 years. That type of framing from secondary school could have been what our elite will agree on. Some are Muslims, some are Christians. It doesn't really matter. What we want to do in Ghana is that we want the nation to be the best African example of excellence. That's what the type of education we wanted to build would have produced. But our basic ethnic instincts took over. So we manifest it in our politics. So if not from our hometown, we won't vote for him. And our colonizers, they like those things. So they use our dislike for each other and weaponize it against us. He was telling you that China, they have 100 languages. You think they all speak Mandarin? They don't. But there are certain things they've agreed to do which they will not compromise whoever is in power. We will go and collect money from Westerners to destroy our own country so we can get power. So it's back to values. We don't have the real desire for the country, which will also mean sacrificing your own personal prejudice in the interest of the nation. We don't train people to say country first, me first, my cousins and my aunties first, my small hometown people first. When we all finish shopping and the money is finished, then we can think about Ghana.
You see,
how are you going to develop like that?
So you see, the example you have given me gives me basis to now go back to the first question that I asked you about.
So you are worrying me today.
The guy has gone to the Western world,
Issue one.
taking money, and he's come back to destroy his nation. If you did that in maybe prehistoric times, or maybe in the olden days, ancestral times, in the Anglo state, for instance, you'll be sent to Toko Atolia, where you be executed or you'll be buried alive, so that the vultures will come and do their thing, because you have committed treason. You understand? Now, the question that you ask is, how has the imposition of politics in the way we now manifest it affected the values? Because previously, there were those underlying values.
Okay, can I attempt an answer? First thing, I don't want us to assume that the societies we had pre-colonization were perfect societies.
They were not.
Because it was some of those same people who sold their brothers for money for slavery.
That's true.
Number two, if the system was working so well, they wouldn't have been so divided to allow the colonizer to overpower them. A lot of times there were less than 200 British in Ghana. In fact, a lot of the wars the British fought, they didn't use white people, they used black people to fight against each other. They hired mercenaries from northern Nigeria, they will hire soldiers from north and things. So let's not create an idea that it was only colonization. Colonization did do a lot of damage, but there were also I think the worst form of thing of colonization is that it broke the normal trajectory of development. But history of society has been littered with that, wars and conquests. People, irrespective of their condition, must have certain underlying values that the colonizer cannot crash. I don't think the example you give, we developed that type of resilience enough. I don't think we developed the resilience enough, which is why they divided us. Read about the British, the Fanti, the Asante, and the Asin. They were basically just playing one group against each other. And I think there's prejudice accounts for a lot of that. So we are very prejudicial, but we don't admit it. Some people feel superior to other people. Those types of feelings you can say are normal. But when you have an opponent who really wants to keep you underdeveloped, he can weaponize that against you. So you think you are doing your nation's bidding by being excessively partisan, but you are actually being weaponized to destroy your own country. So I agree that there were certain things we did that were right, but I'm saying that we didn't allow those things to marinate enough to be strong in order not to make us defeatable. Okay, we have to accept that colonization, the way religion has been practiced, our educational system has left us scarred. But at least now we realize it. You see, in the past, at least now I know. Okay, so when I go somewhere, I know why I behave a certain way because of the way I've been trained. Knowing it is enough. But the difficulty of change, you see, because you can know something to be true, but because the way you've been trained, it takes a lot of discipline and hard work to come out of that mold, because you have been molded by a system. That makes you see other people as superior to you. That makes you see yourself as thinking just of your immediate family and not for the others. That makes you see your country. You see yourself as an Ewe more than a Ghanaian. Go on social media. Now they are fighting Asante Ewe, Ashanti Nation, Ewe Nation.
All the time.
Meanwhile, we're only 30 million. When you go to China, do you see them saying, I am this, I am that? Meanwhile, they are the next world superpower. You with your 30 million people, somebody says Obake, somebody said Akwaba, somebody, you get it. So how are you going to be respected globally, even with this kind of pettiness in a small country like this? You are not ready for development. If you see, every empire requires people to sacrifice. It's one of the unspoken rules of empire. If you want to build something that will last, you have to put away. Everybody cannot get everything they want for the collective to benefit. That's what you teach your kids. I tell them that if you keep fighting over the toys, I'll confiscate the toy and hide it to force them to learn how to collaborate, because it's the same thing you are doing. Everybody wants my share. I want my land. I want my food. I want my this. I want my that. If we all get our this, the collective suffers. And so we are behaving like children in a market. When your kids fight over food, you get angry. Have I said there's no food in the house? Why are you fighting? Don't you get angry when your kids fight over food? But isn't that what our politicians do? We are fighting over food. You get it? So it means that we haven't even grown to the realization that collaboration and compromise is at the heart of nation building. We still think we will have everything we want. You get it? And yet the country will develop somehow. Nobody builds. Go to Rome. Go and read about the Romans. Nobody builds anything great without having people compromise and come together. We are the only people who think that we can all, and it's the truth. Ghana is there. Nigeria, we do it. What is the key issue with African societies? Everybody wants to get for themselves first. That's what we want. And we see the other as the opponent. Look at the way we do our politics. That's at the basis. So Sky, I don't have all the answers, but this is my reflection. If we want to build a great nation, we must put a lot of things aside. We must prepare to lose many things for the collective interest of Ghana. The question is, who will bail the cat? If a leader decides to show that type of leadership, we will support him. If a leader wants to do the right thing, even Mahama, if he says he's going to do certain things, when his party starts fighting him, what will we do? Those of us who say we are not aligned politically, if he decides that, okay, Galamsey has to go, corruption, 58 ministers, I'll continue, then they start fighting, sabotage. Will the people he's trying to help come out and say, Mr. President, keep doing it? We have to ask ourselves those questions. We, in a sense, have developed leaders who are weak, who bend. I mean, look at how they start. Take Akufo-Addo, first 4 years, pretty decent. Next 4 years, disaster. It's the same. That's how we we conspire to make our leaders also lose whatever they want to even do. I don't know whether I'm even making sense at this point, but we are part of the problem. Because you see, you need citizens to follow you, and we, those who believe that the man must take the moral high ground, we must support it. We must put aside our political differences. If we say this is a good decision, let's pursue it. But the thing is that when you start doing it, half of the people, you are NDC, you are MPP, they only frame it through those two lenses. So it pulls the whole society back. So anything you want to do progressively, it's because of his name. His name is this, he's from this part of the country. So we are not ready to look beyond those things. How can we make progress? It's a sad situation, Sky. So I don't know. If you really want to change this country, then you have to start educating people about how they should think about Ghana and how to think about this. Because if the way we think changes, everything will change. If we keep thinking like this, we are in 2025. We will get to 21, 25, nothing will change.